Halfway around the world, there's a big interest over a group of small islands. In the past week, the U.S. warned China over its so-called militarization of the South China Sea. China is boosting its military presence, creating bases on islands carved out of coral and sand. The concern is more than a third of worldwide maritime traffic flows through this region. That includes triple the amount of oil that passes through the Suez Canal and 15 times as much as the Panama Canal. Scott Thuman examines the dangers of the Green Lagoon.
Only a few years ago, these little reefs and sand keys in the Spratly Islands off the coast of the Philippines and South Vietnam were largely uninhabited, wanted only as fertile fishing grounds. Today converted to military outposts, equipped with runways and sophisticated radar towers.
China's intent to militarize the South China Sea is as certain as a traffic jam in D.C.
Admiral Harry Harris Jr. is head of the U.S. Pacific Command. He came to Capitol Hill to raise concerns about China's intent.
In my opinion, China is clearly militarizing the South China Sea, and you'd have to believe in a flat earth to think otherwise.
You're seeing an entirely new island where nothing existed before.
Greg Poling runs the Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative. They commission satellite photos to monitor China's activities.
We have at least 2 radars under construction, a helipad.
These photos, as recent as February, show China's construction continuing at a breakneck speed. Chinese President Xi Jinping, on a recent visit to the U.S., tried to frame the photos differently, claiming China does not intend to pursue militarization.
You build barracks, you build a harbor, you build an airstrip. All you have to do is fly in overnight and you have a base.
Rear Admiral Mike McDevitt knows the South China Sea and the Spratly Islands.
Fiery Cross Reef, and that's the one that has the longest runway right now.
Now retired, he did 7 tours in the Pacific, including at the command of a destroyer squadron. Last September, when China's president was in the Rose Garden, and he said that China did not intend to pursue militarization. Is that a lie?
Clearly, his definition of militarization is different than, for example, Admiral Harris's definition of militarization.
The South China Sea is home to the busiest shipping corridor in the world. $5 trillion worth of goods passes through every year. How alarming is it to you?
Disappointing in many ways that China has, in so many different ways, chosen to play fast and loose with the law of the sea.
Although the international law of the sea permits free passage of ships and planes, the Chinese are already beginning to push back.
Currently what we're looking at is some construction on a landing strip.
Last May, the U.S. Navy's P-8 Poseidon patrolled the area and received this warning.
This is the Chinese Navy. This is the Chinese terror sky. Please go away quickly.
Senator McCain, chairman of the Armed Services Committee, he had said that the Obama administration's policies have failed when it comes to China's militarization of the South China Sea. Do you agree with that?
So what would Senator McCain have preferred we do? Shoot them up? Sink those ships? Blow up those dredges? I mean, come on.
McDevitt says the rise of China's Navy is inevitable and right around the corner.
They're going to have the balance, this range of capability, just like the U.S. will have, except it will be smaller. But because the rest of the world's navies have gotten smaller, it will be the second most capable navy in the world.
Last month, President Obama called for China to stop the construction.
I reiterated that the United States will continue to fly, sail, and operate wherever international law allows, and we will support the right of all countries to do the same.
McDevitt is confident that China's bluster won't interfere with the U.S. Navy's ongoing patrols of the area.
There's only one way China could prevent us from doing that, and that's if they try to use force and shoot at us and try to attack us. And short of that, we can go where, as I would say, as we damn well please, but where international law permits.
Do you think that's a realistic scenario, that would ever occur?
I don't think so, no. China's not stupid. They're not going to, why would they want to start a conflict with a nuclear-armed United States?
This week, U.S. Defense Secretary Ashton Carter announced the U.S. military will step up ships and patrols in the South China Sea. In fact, a small armada sailed into the disputed waters in recent days, including an aircraft carrier, 2 destroyers, and 2 cruisers. Experts say the carrier and its air wing meant to send a clear signal to China.
And so China says it's actually the United States that's militarizing the area.
And that may be their argument. It's true the USS Stennis has about 90 aircraft on board. But those islands, those reefs, are military ready. They just don't have weaponry or fighter jets on them yet.
Scott Thuman, thanks. Still ahead on Full Measure, a streetcar named Wasteful. How your dollars went to support a streetcar line in D.C. that critics call a boondoggle.